I mean, slums are the physical manifestation of urban poverty, not only in African cities, but have in Latin America and in Asia and elsewhere. It's not an African phenomenon only. The primary ingredient to resolve and to upgrade slums and to integrate them into the city, which is what we propose, first and foremost, it's a political decision. It's how political leaders in cities and nationally view the urban poor. Slums are upgraded over time once the decision has taken to recognize those people as citizens of the city. Then you can get into the technical and political difficulties, and normally number one always is access to land markets. Where do people settle? People either are born in the city or move to the city. Where do they settle? If you don't provide for them their land, their services, and recognize their needs for economic opportunity, then they get forced to live where they can. And that very simple explanation underscores what drives the growth of most slums in Africa and in Latin America. Very few cities grew up anywhere in the world without slums. So London had its slums, Paris had its slums. All of the cities you think now of as your role model, they've all had this contest. It's been an ongoing battle between people wanting to access the city, the services that it provides, and elites basically trying to keep them out. So yes, it's absolutely achievable. First, to engage, to rethink the city. So don't think of that as this is the city and those are the informal areas and those are the slums. Wrong thinking. That's the city, including those different parts. So you have to plan for the whole city at the same time. And then you look at the slums differently and you're asking yourself, how can we provide support, services, and the conditions where the local authority plays its part, citizens play their part, invest in the city, the private sector, and you change it from a cycle of misery into a cycle of opportunity and optimism. I'm not being naive. I mean, this takes a long, long time. If 70% of your city is slum, then you don't have a city problem, you don't have a slum problem, you have a city problem. But change the thinking, engage the urban poor as citizens, think of them as people who don't want to stay poor but would like to be prosperous and middle class, and work out what are the investments that we as a city can make to make that happen, and the movie changes. If I put it in simple terms, if you don't empower the local authorities, you are going to assume that you have the same solutions in every city to the same sets of problems. If you empower them, you'll get different answers to the same sets of problems. And that's the kind of thinking we want to promote.